Hello and welcome to a new episode of Berlin's 96 Localities. I'm today in Lichtenrade, or actually right now I'm at the border between Buko and Lichtenrade, and I try to portray this locality in the next minutes for you. And before we go into detail, let's take a look on the map. Lichtenrade belongs to the district of Tempelhof-Schöneberg and is located in the very south of the city. You can see that more than 50% of the locality's border are also the outer border of the city, something which will play a role later in this video. You can also see that Lichtenrade has got only 2 S-Bahn stations, and therefore a lot of public transport is organized via buses. Before I start a tour, I usually do a little bit of research, and it's the same today. And I have checked that there are a few kilometers of former border between West Berlin and the GDR here at Lichtenrade. So I'm going to check this out. And then I am also going to the historic core, because it's well preserved and quite big. And besides that, I would say let's just see what the day brings and let's enjoy this tour together. Let's go. Well, I walked along the former German border, and I have arrived at one of those few places where you can actually pass between Brandenburg and Lichtenrade. Here's one of them, because once there was the wall, but now there is a frontier made from nature. There are those trees that have been planted 20 or 30 years ago that have grown up, and it's good to see in a certain way that the frontier from that time is now another frontier. Well, there's unfortunately also a lot of trash around here, and behind me there is some information where neighbors from this area inform about the trash, and they try to raise awareness so people don't throw away their trash into nature. Well, I'm going back now into Lichtenrade's center pretty much, and let's see what else we will find. So I re-entered the locality and I found myself in an area of nice and quiet housing. A building that really stood out was this school because of the architecture, which reminded me a lot on the wall and the fences and the watchtowers. I picked a few photos to give you an impression of the neighborhood, with this house really standing out. The scenery changes. Just a few meters away, you're in an area of these late 70s apartment blocks. And well, this is a totally different form of living, I would say, compared to the houses before. I was able to get on the top floor of one of those buildings and I could take a few photos. In the background you can see Gropiusstadt, one of the localities that I have already visited, and also these large green areas in between. To the other side, you can see the skyline of the city, and if you zoom in a little bit, you can even make out Potsdamer Platz. Back on the ground, I was in Straße, a street's name that you might have heard of if you've been to the southwest, as many buses start and stop here. What is also interesting is that just a few meters from these buildings you will find the historic core, and the scenery couldn't change more drastically in my opinion, because this is what it looked like just a few meters away. I have arrived at the historic core of Lichtenrade, and behind me you can see the old church and a big pond, and it's really beautiful here. And I'm keen to investigate the environment. Maybe I can enter this old church and I will have a look at some old houses, which you can maybe already see in the background. It's really nice on this bright, a bit cool but sunny day in early spring, and let's check it out. If you have watched a few of my other episodes, you know that I have been to some historic cores of different localities. I must say that Lichtenrade was special, however. I haven't been to a locality with so many old buildings and mostly in a good shape. This might have been an old school, maybe. And what is also funny is that even you have the feeling you're at some totally different place, but then somewhere in the background you see some of those apartment blocks and you're reminded that you're still within the city, within the capital city of Germany. What is really fantastic is the old church. It is totally beautiful in my opinion. Unfortunately, the day I was there, the doors were locked, probably for protection reasons. I am at the beginning of Bahnhofstraße now, and in the very end, you can see the Bahnhof, the station, which is the cause of the name of this street. And I will walk to the station and I will walk along many shops. I think you can consider Bahnhofstraße the main shopping street here of this locality. So let's see what they have on offer, and yeah, just follow me. When I visited Lichtenrade, there was a lot of construction work going on, especially on Bahnhofstraße. But as you watch this episode, all the work is probably finished. I encountered some more buses, and you can see the shops. It's a mix of cafes, banks, and of course a stall for currywurst. Yeah, I am close to the S-Bahn station Lichtenrade now, so the station of the same name as the locality. And could there be a better place to finish this tour? I don't think so. Also, the weather is quite mixed now. There has been some rain, and yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this tour. Behind me you can still see some nice buildings made from brick. One is sort of a little town hall, Bürgeramt, and the other one is a Catholic church with this neat little top. So I would like to thank you for watching, and I would like to see you soon again. Take care. Cheers.